Hello everyone and welcome back to Educately's chemistry course. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to balance chemical equations, which will help you form chemical equations by yourself. You must be wondering why balancing equations is important. Well, one of the most significant principles of science is the law of conservation of mass, which states that the total amount of mass of a system remains constant. An example from our daily lives might help. Suppose you have a machine which takes plastic as a raw material and converts the plastic into a pen. Assume each pen requires 1 gram of plastic. Now, it would be reasonable to assume that feeding the machine 2 grams of plastic would lead to the machine producing 2 pens, right? But what if the machine produces only 1 pen instead? You would be disappointed, right? This is similar to an unbalanced equation, where you use a certain mass of reactions but receive a smaller mass of products. This is why equations need to be balanced to ensure that the total number of atoms in the reactant side is equal to the total number of atoms in the product side, which is in line with the law of conservation of mass. Now, let's look at how you would balance equations. Consider the following equation. The equation above is unbalanced, so how can we balance it? Let's look at the atoms on the left-hand side first. There's 1 Fe atom and 2 oxygen atoms on the reaction side. Now let's look at the right-hand side. There are 4 Fe atoms and 6 oxygen atoms on the product side. In order to balance the equation, we increase the number of atoms on the reaction side. To balance the equation, there must be 4 Fe atoms and 6 oxygen atoms on the reaction side. Remember, you can only change coefficients. Therefore, the final equation is going to look like this. Let's solve another example. Consider the following equation. There are 4 hydrogen atoms, 1 carbon atom, and 2 chlorine atoms on the reactant side. The number of carbon atoms on the reactant side is equal to the number of carbon atoms on the product side. However, there's 4 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side and 1 on the product side. We need to increase the coefficient of HCl to 4 to balance the number of carbon atoms. This would be the equation that you should get. Now there are 8 chlorine atoms on the product side due to the number of HCl molecules being increased to 4, whereas there are only 2 atoms on the reactant side. We increase the coefficient of Cl2 to 4, which would result in 4 times 2 equals 8 chlorine atoms. The equation is now balanced. Now try solving one for yourself. Consider the following equation. Try to balance it by yourself. Hopefully that wasn't too challenging. There are 6 hydrogen atoms and 2 nitrogen atoms on the reactant side, whereas there are 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 nitrogen atom on the product side. Since 1 times 2 equals 2 and 3 times 2 equals 6, only one coefficient needs to be changed, and that is the coefficient of the product side. Therefore, the final equation would be 3H2 plus N2 creates 2NH3. That's it for today's video. Thank you for taking a look at balancing equations with us, and we'll see you in the next one.